right, you guys should have me now. My apologies. I do that every day, every time, every single time. My pod track is not by my computer anymore. It's way over there. So I always forget to turn that shit on. But anyway, I do, like I was saying at the beginning, thank you all for being here. Appreciate everybody being here. We have some things that we're going to get into today. We're going to get into what's going on with Daisy Ridley talking about Star Wars, and that's going to be the first thing, because we're going to get that in and get that the fuck out. We're going to talk about Daisy Ridley and Star Wars and how she is certain and has confidence in what they are doing with their Star Wars film. We are going to talk about how Elijah Richardson, was cut from the Brave New World film, probably in like maybe, I don't know, the 6th, 17th, 47th reshoot. They cut him out of the film. Colman Domingo said that he spoke with Kevin Feige about these Kang the Conqueror rumors, and we'll get into that. And then we're going to get into Black Tree TV, and shout out to Black Tree TV. Black Tree TV is the only ones, whenever interviewing these folks over at Marvel, that are bringing up the Black Panther, that are bringing up T'Challa, that are asking them, hey, what were you guys thinking? Are you guys wanting, what are your thoughts? Where are you now? Blah, blah, blah. Remember, Black Tree TV were the ones that were interviewing Kevin Feige during the promotion for Deadpool and Wolverine. While interviewing them, they asked about Black Panther then. So shout out Black Tree TV. They are doing the Lord's work. Shout out to them. So we're going to get into all of that and some more. Definitely appreciate everybody being here, like I said. I got Professor Film Fan in here. Appreciate you being here. Groovy, JD75, Antonio Films, Pam's TV. Appreciate you being here. Andre Ware. Let's see. Ty, appreciate you. Planet Poppy. Chill. D-Stizzle. Appreciate everybody in the chat, everybody that's watching. Like I said, we're going to get into everything this evening. So let's go ahead and get into things. Before we get into things, we're going to take a look at this.
Look at this.
Look at this. Look at that.
Yeah, sure.
Yeah, look at this.
Somebody come and look at this. Look at this.
Look at this. Look at that.
Yeah, sure.
Yeah, look at.
Okay. So what we are seeing here is more and more promotion for Deadpool and Wolverine, sorry. More and more promotion for Brave New World. They are, I think, like I've been saying, they are trying to just get this film out of the way. I think that they are really just trying to push us past this film. They have shown so much for this film. The film comes out this Friday. I'll be seeing the film this Thursday. I'll be seeing it around, like, I think 1 or 2, maybe 3 or something like that. And then I'm going to get in here and give my review of it. But this was in one of the newer TV spots, I think over the past weekend or whatever. I think they showed something here for recently as well. But one of the newer TV spots is just showing Hulk doing Hulk-ass shit that we're expecting him to do to Sam. This one here, I hadn't seen this one. This one was interesting. This was a different one too, a different TV spot that they had shown. Just, again, the vibranium suit, and it'll be interesting. I want to say about now we've seen the entire fight. I want to say we've probably seen the entire fight. If you were to take all the clips of Red Hulk, all the clips from the trailers within their fights, and I don't have the time to do this, but if someone wanted to and took all the clips that they have shown, all the clips from the trailers, all the clips from the TV spots, all the clips that they're just randomly dropping and put them together, I damn guarantee you could probably put that fight together before Friday. You could probably put that motherfucker together before Friday and you could see it then. If that's all you're going for the film to see, if you have iMovie or whatever, put that shit together. I damn guarantee you they've shown you the entire film, or the entire fight, rather, just in those sequences. So you can check that out. Also, something I said I wanted to take a look at here was what I've been talking about. And that is when it comes to these rumors about who's going to be playing who's going to be what, who's going to be where, who, what, and all that kind of stuff. We are going to start seeing those rumors come to the trades as far as if this person's going to really be playing them or not. They start filming this. They start shooting in May. Shut up, Thor. Hold on. I'm sorry. Okay. They start filming this thing in May. So May I'm sorry, not May. They start shooting this March in England. It's releasing in May of 2026. It is there's an article with it, but it's behind the wraps paywall, and I'm not paying for you to tell me that they're shooting in England. So that's what's going on with Avengers. We'll see again those rumors and things start to come true once we get closer to that time. But before, obviously, we're going to go ahead and jump into the main topics now. I just want to kind of look into those things really quickly. Like I said, put those clips together. You got the fight, and then we'll start seeing things about these rumors of who's going to be playing who's going to be what in Avengers. But we'll go ahead and jump into hot.
Let's get started. It's time for Hot Topics.
It's hot. Damn hot. Real hot.
Oh, it's hot out here, man. It is hot today.
Damn, that's hot.
It's hotter than a thermos ass!
It's hot as hell up in there.
All right. So the first thing that we're going to jump into is going to be Daisy Ridley. Okay, so Daisy Ridley, as you guys know, I am a very big Star Wars fan. Love Star Wars. My love for Star Wars has faded. My love for not my love for Star Wars, my love for whatever they're doing is I have no love for. Not a fan of The Acolyte. We all knew that. Not a fan of Skeleton Kids. We all know that. Didn't care for Bad Batch. It's not just the newer things. It's, some of that stuff too. There's just a lot that Lucasfilm has done that I'm not on board with. This is one of them. When it comes to anything sequel trilogy, I'm not for it. As a matter of fact, I was just watching some videos from people that were at MegaCon over this past weekend in Orlando on YouTube, and one of the booths was a Star Wars booth that they had there, and they had this beautiful mural. It's like, I don't know, it's pretty long. It's a beautiful mural of the timeline of Star Wars and just different characters and on the timeline and blah, 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 blah. That thing is really beautiful. And then literally as he's panning and it gets up to episode 7, I was like, oh, ew. And then for me, it stops. For me, my Star Wars timeline, my canon stops at 6. Unless it's Legends material, then it continues on. Outside of that, I don't claim episode 7. I don't claim episode 8. I don't claim episode 9. Those don't exist to me. But for whatever reason, Star Wars, and they don't, not only just to me, this is a lot of Star Wars fans, but for whatever reason, Lucasfilm, Kathleen Kennedy, everybody else involved decided, hey, we have gotten a lot of backlash for 7, 8, and 9. A lot of people did not like 7, 8, 9. There are a lot of people that do, but whatever. A lot of people that don't like 7, 8, and 9 and things like that. Let's go ahead and do another trilogy with that character, Rey, that everyone hates. And let's go ahead and try to make some more movies with her. There were rumors that they were going to do an older Rey. I'm not even going to get into the rumors because anything with Rey, it just doesn't work. I don't know why they keep trying to force Rey onto Star Wars fans. It's not going to work. No, Star Wars fans are going to boycott the hell out of this film. I can tell you that right now. But this is what they're saying. This is from Collider. Daisy Ridley may have gotten her start in acting in the early 2010s in small roles in various shorts and TV shows, but it wasn't until 2015 that she stepped into the role that would change her life forever. Ridley led a new generation of Star Wars stories as Rey, first in The Force Awakens, before also appearing in The Last Jedi and The Rise of Skywalker. After the controversial reception, The Rise of Skywalker, and when I say controversial reception, Rise of Skywalker is a piece of shit. Rise of Skywalker is a piece of shit. The Last Jedi is a mega piece of shit. They are trying to run this franchise in the ground, but you've heard me bitch about that before. Most thought that we'd never see Rey again. That was the consensus. However, in 2023, it was announced that she would return to lead a new Jedi Order movie from director, Sharmeen Obachoy, if I'm saying her last name correctly. During a recent interview, now if you remember Sharmeen, she was the one at Star Wars Celebration that was like, we need to put some woman power in Star Wars. There's not been any woman power in Star Wars, while also saying that, disrespecting all the women that have been powerful in Star Wars. That's what I mean by putting people on projects that know nothing about the project. For you to get on Star Wars Celebration, on stage at Star Wars Celebration, the biggest stage for Star Wars outside of the theaters, and tell a room of fans, hey, Star Wars has never had strong women. Okay, well, you've clearly never watched Star Wars. There are plenty of strong women that are the main characters in Star Wars, but go off. During a recent interview with Collider's Maggie Lovett to promote her upcoming movie Cleaner, Ridley spoke about her involvement behind the camera as a potential producer in her upcoming Star Wars flick, as well as how things are different this time around. Now, she has talked about that. She's talked about how she's going to be behind the camera. She's a lot more involved. She's got more input. She's got more this. She's got more that. That's fine. That's fine. Daisy can be behind the camera. Daisy can write the movie. Daisy can do whatever she wants to do. And this is nothing against Daisy. As I've said before, I'm sure she's a sweet, kind, I'm sure she's great. I'm sure she's great. She would be a lovely person to have a cup of tea with, I'm sure. I don't want her anywhere near Star Wars is the thing. And that's not her fault. That's Lucasfilm's fault. She can write whatever she wants to write. It's not going to matter because I don't think that she herself understands Star Wars. You know, and some of you that really don't get it when people say, or Star Wars fans say, well, this just doesn't feel like Star Wars. It doesn't look like Star Wars. It doesn't have that Star Wars vibe or whatever. There is a certain vibe. You have to have a certain director, in my opinion. You have to have a certain director that's going to come in with that vibe. Certain actors that are going to come in with that vibe and understand that it's different. There's nothing else like it. So she can be behind the camera all she wants. She went on to say, I don't know that I'd be a producer on it, but I certainly have been very involved. I'm involved in, not very involved, but I'm involved in as much as I know what's going on. I know the story. I know what's going on with the script. So I'm aware of all that. And I think what's been really wonderful over the last few years is being more involved from the start to finish, really coming to the set, knowing this is the absolute best way we can tell this story. These are the best actors for the job. This is the best crew for the job. Having the confidence is so lovely. And it's not that I didn't have it before, but I'm much more cognizant of it now. So in that way, I'm looking forward to turning up, really knowing the ins and outs of what the journey has been, and we're arriving at the absolute best place to tell the particular story. And again, that's fine. That's fine. My thing is, you need people on the project, writers and everything like that just understand it. Now, we haven't seen the synopsis of the story. There's rumors out there of what it is going to be, and if those rumors are true, keep it. But like I said, Star Wars is just, I don't think they're in a place that they can dig themselves out. Honestly, I think they are. No matter what you do in Star Wars now, because it's so divided, you can put out something that is Rogue One quality, and I still think it's going to be majorly divided. That is just where the fandom is. I don't care who could appear in Rey's movie, so I'm not going to read that. I don't. I know that they threw the fucking ship at John Boyega. He has said he wouldn't come back, but I guess enough zeros. He is coming back. Oscar Isaac will probably be there. We know Grogu is going to be involved in some capacity. And maybe even probably Din will be there as well. I mean, why not? Let's throw them all in, because Star Wars, the galaxy is just so damn small. So we'll wait to see exactly what that's going to be. Just expect, from what my understanding, 3 more Rey movies, and we're going to move the fuck on. I don't have anything else to say about Star Wars. I don't have anything else to say about Rey. I'm just kind of keeping up to date on what's going on with this film. Of course, whenever more comes out about it, I'm going to react to it, and we'll see exactly what Lucasfilm is over there being out of touch with this time. But we'll move on. Next thing that we're going to move on to is going to be the cut that was Elijah Richardson, who played Eli Bradley in Falcon and Winter Soldier Season 1, and the only season. After seeing him show up in that season, everybody automatically knew, okay, obviously Eli Bradley, he's going to go on to be Patriot for the Young Avengers, blah, blah, blah. I feel like maybe at the time that was something Marvel wanted to set up a lot sooner, but obviously here we are, however many years later, and we're just now getting the Captain America film that is supposed to be that was supposed to come after Falcon and Winter Soldier. So, he's been cut from the film, and the reason he's been cut from the film is coming from none other than our friend Nate Moore. This is coming from the direct, and this is what they had to say about it. It says, despite the Young Avengers seemingly being on the MCU's horizon, one of its core members was cut from Captain America Brave New World, except for Hulkling, All of the original Young Avengers from the comics have made the jump into the MCU. However, it feels more and more like one of the teenage team members has gotten the short end of the stick by being left so out of focus. And surprise, surprise, it's the black character. It's Patriot. Patriot's the one that's being left out. And again, not surprised by that fact that the black character is the one with the short end of the stick. As we talk about all the time, Marvel Studios' black characters are always getting the short end of the stick. Goes on to say Elijah Bradley was introduced in Falcon Winter Soldier almost 4 years ago as just a minor supporting character without superpowers or an origin of his own. Sadly, it seems Eli will continue being overshadowed by his grandfather. Brave New World leaves out Falcon and the Winter Soldier's young Avenger, Patriot. In an interview with Screen Rant, Marvel Studios producer, our good friend Nate Moore, was asked why Carl Lumbly's Isaiah would be without his grandson, Elijah Richardson's Eli Bradley, in Captain America Brave New World, despite being introduced alongside the Korean War veteran in Falcon Winter Soldier. Moore confirmed that the Young Avengers character was cut in later drafts of Brave New World and felt there were too many characters to track and that they wanted to make sure each of them had something to do. He goes on to say, there are early drafts of the script where Eli was in it, but we started to feel like there were too many characters to track, and we want to make sure if a character is in the film, they have something to do. It was a tough decision to exclude Eli, but they felt it was more important to focus on Isaiah and how Sam's world maybe affects his. Not to mention building up the relationship with the newest Captain America without a third party kind of commenting on it. And he goes on to say, and so we had to make the tough decision to just explore Isaiah and to see how Isaiah being pulled into Sam's world maybe affects him. We also wanted Sam and Isaiah. We wanted room to build up their relationship without a third party kind of commenting on that. Well, hold on. Let me finish this part here. It goes, without the grandson. Well, let's just skip to what Nate Moore said. Also, and so this film is very much about establishing that Isaiah has become not only a mentor to Sam, but a training partner. He's a super soldier. I think it allows Sam to expand on his physical skills, but that relationship might not be the best thing for Isaiah in the long run. At this rate, Eli will get his powers either in post-credit scene or off-screen in the MCU, neither of which would be treating the character with much respect. Well, that's typical Marvel when it comes to black characters, compared to his peers who had co-starring roles or even whole shows dedicated to them. But fans are now asking what else, or more specifically, who else could have been cut from Brave New World to make room for Eli, going into Sabra and all that type of stuff. Well, we have to remember that this film went through 137 reshoots. So with that said, he could have. There's a lot. If you take yourself back to the original rumors for this, Moon Knight was in this shit at one point in time. You had the Hulk family in this shit at one point in time. You had a small fraction of the Avengers, a small group of Avengers that Sam was supposed to be putting together to help with whatever the threat was going to be in the movie at one time. You had the Serpent Society at one time. I mean, the Serpent Society is still in it, but you had, I think it was going to be a lot more than just what we're seeing with Sidewinder. There were a lot of different pieces. I think Blonsky was even rumored to be in this at one time. There were a lot of different working pieces for Serpent Society turned Brave New World with Captain America 4. So with all the reshoots and everything like that, I'm not shocked that, again, the black character got the short end of the stick. As they said down there at the bottom, every young Avenger outside of Hulkling has shown up so far and gotten either their powers, seen their story, or something like that. When it comes to Eli, if we do see that off screen, well, again, disrespectful to the character. My question is, though, I thought I saw somebody on Twitter say something about there was something going on with Elijah behind the scenes as far as like breaking contract or doing something he wasn't supposed to do or something like that. I don't know. I follow him on Twitter, or not on Twitter, on Instagram. And every time he posts something, people are always under the post saying something about him being Patriot, something about, him coming to the MCU, getting ready for Young Avengers, because he is super swole right now. So it's like getting ready for the Young Avengers or whatever. I don't know. But I'm just not shocked that he got the short end of the stick on this. You could have easily had him in this film I saw someone even say in the scene of him, where they're talking about adamantium, where Harrison Ford's on stage, he could have been sitting next to his grandfather, or even in a post-credit scene, like something like that. In the Marvels, the post-credit scene, even though Miss Marvel is in that film, the post-credit scene is a Young Avengers post-credit scene. It's setting up the Young Avengers. You could even do that here. If you get 2 post-credit scenes, we know what one of the post-credit scenes are, and you don't get 2. My apologies. You're only getting 1 in this film, and we already know what that is. Well, I know what that is. I think I've shared that with some of you. And Eli's not in it. So, it's again another character cut, another black character cut. So you can add Eli to the list when we're talking about characters that are either delayed, misplaced, dead, or whatever else may have you with the black characters that are going on in the MCU. So again, not shocked, but when he says that they had to make room for other characters, this is what I say about Nate Moore, and we always talk about Nate Moore when he just pulls shit out of his ass, just lying or whatever it is. Tell the truth, Nate. I don't know why he feels he has to lie to try to get a point across. You say you cut Eli Bradley, Elijah Richardson to make was it to make room for other characters, or they just cut him out? The characters was cut later in drafts, blah 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 blah. Too many characters to keep track with. But after cutting him, adding Giancarlo as Sidewinder, I believe even adding because I don't believe she was originally in that film. Blake Lively. Liv Taylor. Liv Taylor was not originally going to be in the film, and she is in the film. So there were other people that I don't know if he got cut and then they got added because he was cut or whatever, but it's pretty unfortunate that he is not in the film. I was actually, you guys know, one of the things that I've been looking forward to, I've talked about it before a lot, is the Young Avengers stuff going on. And I would have liked to have seen it. Like I said, I've even commented under his Instagram post at one point in time saying something about Patriot. So it's pretty disappointing that he won't be joining, if that is true, that he is not going to be joining at all. We don't know, what the situation may be. Sounds like Nate were disappointed. I don't know. You could be lying there too, but sounds like they were disappointed. And if they were disappointed, maybe they get him in something else. Don't know. But I would assume it would be soon here with the Young Avengers or Champions or whatever they're going to be called being talked about so much by scoopers. The team actually being somewhat formed in the MCU with Ms. Marvel telling Hawkeye, Kate Bishop, Ant-Man has a daughter. We've even heard from Daniel RPK that Kate Bishop is going to be the leader of the Avengers, the Young Avengers team. So, and we've even got the most recent scoop on who's going to be playing Tommy in the Vision Quest show. So you've already got Tommy, you've got Kate, you've got Ms. Marvel, you've got Wiccan. You are just going to be missing Hulkling, and Hulkling is supposed to be coming, from my understanding, from what Alex over the Cosmic Circus said, in this next phase. Or I'm even thinking some stuff with Secret Wars, I think is what he said. So you got the team, but you don't got Patriot. So on the team do you have someone black? Or are they going to use, I wonder if they're going to use Riri Williams. And just go with that route instead of having Patriot. I don't know. It's a lot of. Is there any guys on the team outside of Tommy and? I'd go with Patriot, but that's just what they've got right now. So as it stands right now, Patriot Elijah Richardson, Eli Bradley is not going to be in this film, and likely, as they said, could have been cut for other characters to make their debut. So we'll see on the later on in the future what's going on with Elijah, if he's going to end up joining the MCU or not, but we'll wait to see. All right, we'll move on to the next thing here. The next thing we're going to move on to is Colman Domingo. Colman Domingo was recently interviewed by Josh over at the Happy Sad Confused podcast and talked about the rumors that have been circulating for quite some time, ever since the stuff with Jonathan Majors went down. There have been rumors circulating that Marvel Studios was looking at Colman Domingo to take over that role, looking at Colman Domingo to come in and either be a variant of him, obviously one of the different versions of Kang. There were rumors of him being the Beyonder Kang, coming in and taking over the role that Majors was supposed to do. But he also says that he wouldn't have been comfortable doing that. He said that after talking with his team and asking his team, has Marvel been reaching out or anything like that? And after sitting down and asking them, from my understanding that I got from this was he sat down, spoke with them, and after, I'm sure they told him, this is what it would be. We want you to be, Kang variant, come in, step in the shoes that Jonathan Majors, we're stepping the shoes that filled on those shoes where he left off and things like that. And Colman Domingo wasn't happy with that, and wasn't okay with that rather. And this was something that we talked about around that time of recasting. The recasting conversations came up for Jonathan Majors with Kang the Conqueror. I remember having this conversation and saying, are there going to be any black actors or brothers that look at that are looking at the situation that would want to step in that role? Would they feel that that's disrespectful to Jonathan to step in a role or whatever? So I feel like that's probably the same thing with Colman Domingo here. He's saying, he wants to take the role. He wants to take a role, whatever role it is in Marvel, and make it his own. Kind of like what he's done in the Friendly Neighborhood Spider-Man show. If you're watching that show, he plays Norman Osborn's voice. And I think, again, I like the show a lot. So I think he's doing a great job. He even talked about the evolution of watching him turning into Green Goblin as the show goes on. So he is somewhat in Marvel as of now. But when it comes to that live action spot, having him to really step into whatever role it's going to be, he wants it to be his own. So he was not on board with simply just picking up where Jonathan Majors left off. And this is what he had to say about it.
This has been tried to secret into the universe for a while. We need to get you into the MCU, man. Have we come close?
You know what? I am now.
Well, yes.
No, but I mean, you want the live action. You want the live action.
I want the full Colman. I need the full Colman.
You want full-bodied Colman. Okay, I'm trying to give you a little bit of Norman Osborn.
And I like it, and I've been liking it.
Yeah, Pete, you're liking it? Are you liking it?
I'm enjoying it. What's it been like to be an iconic villain, albeit in?
It's cool, but I do want to get the live action out too. Yeah. Wouldn't that be kind of cool? Right? Right. I mean, I would love to tear that up on the big screen. But I'm having a great time. I actually I love the animation. I love the idea of playing Norman Osborn, and then you'll see his evolution to the Green Goblin in coming seasons, which would be very cool.
Amazing. So, I mean, I know you were made aware because people kept asking you about all the Kang rumors and everything. Like when you heard about that, like, oh, they're going to recast it with Colman. Do you initiate conversations with like your folks, say like, can I talk to somebody at Marvel and see if there's something to talk about?
Listen, after a while, when it was constantly in the press and on places like, Twitter, I was like, wait a minute. Is this true? Am I being talked about for gigs? So I literally called up my team and said, are you guys having conversations that I don't know anything about? They're like, no, I don't know. And then I was like, are you guys being cagey or what? And they weren't. I don't think so. But I think that there had been conversations of me coming into Marvel in some way. So we did follow up with a sit-down meeting with the heads of Marvel. So I did do that. And we talked openly about the landscape of Marvel and or even like the Kang rumors. And I personally knew that, like, listen, I'm just all about energy, and I just want to like do things that make sense and brings gentle energy. But I feel like I want a role to be mine, whatever that role is, whatever I develop. I don't want to, something didn't feel right of me, like, oh, would I replace someone or so? I said, no, I want to build something from the ground up that's my own. So I feel like that was never a conversation from my point of view. You know what I mean? If I was discussed, I still don't know if I was discussed, but I just know that I would want to build something from the ground up. So there's still talks.
Okay. Speaking of talks, Euphoria seems a little more real now for the next season. Can I put money on this? You guys are actually going to get before the cameras. You're going to shoot another.
That's what he had to say about Marvel, for sure. But as far as the Kang rumors go, it seems like there was some truth to that behind the scenes. It seems like maybe Marvel really was looking at Colman Domingo to come in and be Kang the Conqueror. But after sitting down with them and speaking with Kevin Feige and whoever else was in the room and being fed whatever it was that they wanted him to do as Kang, he thought to himself, no, I'm not wanting to come in and just replace Jonathan Majors. I also think I'm of the mind of thinking he probably thinks, I don't want to do that to another brother. I think that might be disrespectful as well. I don't want to just come in and just take that role that still should honestly be his. So I'd rather have a role that is something of my own that I can come into the Marvel Cinematic Universe and put my stamp on it. And I think, this kind of falls in line with what I was talking about with the recast stuff last night when I said, at first I didn't believe Jeff when he said that some young black actor had turned down the role of T'Challa, because I thought to myself, well, what black male actor wouldn't want to cut their teeth on a role like T'Challa, wouldn't want to be that guy, wouldn't want to have the community, looking up to them, young black kids want to be that symbol. Who would turn that down? And as I've thought about it more and more and more, and as I said last night with these rumors of Toussaint and Toussaint being the way forward, Toussaint being in Avengers 5, Toussaint being in Avengers 6, Toussaint being the leading man in Black Panther 3 and 4 and on and on and on. Whatever else they decide to do with Toussaint, I thought to myself, you know what? I'm somewhat, and this is just my own theory, again, I don't know, believing Jeff when he says, yeah, they offered it to someone, but I believe they offered it to someone, and they offered it to someone as Toussaint, and whoever that person is, whoever that person was they offered it to, again, as I said, it's not as if these celebrities are not aware and privy to these rumors that are going on, the things that are going on online. As Colman Domingo said, I saw the Kang rumors also on Twitter. So if he's seeing Kang rumors on Twitter, then you can just imagine that these other celebrities like O'Shea Jackson just retweeted the stuff about recasting T'Challa. So other celebrities and things like that are seeing the conversation. They are seeing the hashtag. They've seen it. So if that is true, and this is just my own theory, whoever Marvel Studios offered that to, I don't believe they offered it to a young black actor as T'Challa, son of T'Chaka. I believe they offered it to a young black actor as Toussaint, the character we made up, son of T'Challa. And I believe after seeing some of the conversations and knowing that that's really not what people are wanting to go for, again, my own theory, that actor then turned it down. And I think we're seeing a similar situation here with Colman Domingo, where he is looking at Marvel Studios and he's looking at what you're offering me, and it's to slight another black man. I'd rather not do that. I'd rather you just give me a role that is completely on my own. And as I said at the very beginning, anyway, it's not as if Jonathan Majors should not still be in this role. So yeah, I looks like there was truth behind a lot of those rumors. And, for a long time, people were just like, oh, these are just rumors. Colman Domingo even said, I don't know. I've talked to my team, and there has been several times, the issue that came out with Variety, or Vanity Fair rather, where he was asked about it asked about the rumors. Are they true? And he's like, I don't know. I haven't talked to my team, but it actually looks like there were truth to those rumors. It looks like that is something that they were really looking at doing, but Colman Domingo shut it down. So, will he show up in the Marvel Cinematic Universe in live action in some form? That is we'll have to wait to see. We'll have to wait and see. But as far as it goes, as he said there, talking to Josh, he is in Marvel as of now. He's in the Friendly Neighborhood Spider-Man show, and he voices Norman Osborn. So you can go check it out. And really, it's a really good show, as I've said before. It is a good show, so I definitely check it out. I think they drop 3 episodes every week, so go check that out. It's a good show. But yeah, I think that's what's going on here with Colman Domingo. Same thing that's going on with possibly my theory with Toussaint, and we will wait to see if Colman. He talks about Chadwick Boseman too, but we won't go into that one. But he does want to join he wants to join Marvel, and in what capacity that will be, we'll have to wait to see. But it looks like the rumors were true. Looks like the rumors were true. So the next thing and the last thing here on the docket that we will move to is going to be Nate Moore's interview with Black Tree TV. As I said at the very beginning, I want to shout out Black Tree TV. Major shout out to Black Tree TV. Black Tree TV also did the interview with Kevin Feige during the Deadpool and Wolverine press junket, where they were talking about how big the budget, or not budget, how big the box office could potentially be for for Deadpool and Wolverine, and then while talking to Feige about that, slid in there the box office and how big it was for Black Panther 1, and there's the similarities to it and things like that. And then he asked him, what did he think about that? Was something about that time that he can remember? And Kevin Feige told him, well, one of the things I remember is one of the things that really got me excited for doing Black Panther was the posters, seeing the posters in the lobby. He said, when I used to go to the theaters and I used to, get popcorn and things like that, I never thought about the posters in the lobby. He's like, yeah, I looked at them as they were cool and things like that, but I never thought about, oh, I'm represented in this light, blah, 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 blah. He's like, but seeing all the Black kids that felt represented, the young Black kids, and da 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 da. He was like, that was the best part for me, and that just felt good for me. And I said then, and I still say the same thing now. I think that Kevin Feige is full of shit when he says that. I think that for you to sit and say that was the best part, and you got so much joy from that, and that was the best feeling for you, it couldn't have been, brother. It couldn't have been, because typically you try to repeat good feelings. Typically you try to have good feelings. You want to feel that euphoric feeling again. If I feel good, I want to feel good some more. So you couldn't have felt too good, because you took that good feeling that you said you felt so good about, and you buried it. So he couldn't have felt too good about it. But he says that was a favorite part. Anyway, I highlighted that to say Black Tree TV are the ones that are slipping in these questions here and there when interviewing Nate Moore or interviewing anybody over at Marvel that can give a cohesive answer about Black Panther and what's going on over there. So while talking with Nate Moore, they did the same thing, slid in there and asked them, hey, when filming Black Panther, things like that, this was the first time, this is the second time I'm interviewing you. The first time I interviewed you was on Black Panther. So let's talk about Black Panther here for a second. And this is what they discussed. I will say this. If it's going to be a little difficult to hear, it's like this all the time on some of their interviews. It's like the host comes in the right ear and the guest comes in the right ear, the left ear. So be prepared for that.
Black TV. Nate, I remember we first met on the last day of shooting for Black Panther in Atlanta.
Sure.
And I was like first just so proud to see you in that seat, I know Black Panther and what's happened with Chad is like, it's been some time, but as an EP, on the business side of that tragedy, did you think that y'all would be able to move on with that franchise?
Not necessarily. I mean, it was obviously a shocking loss, because Chad was such a big part of that character, even in Civil War, and people make movies. You have an emotional attachment to people, and so Coogler and I certainly had really hard conversations initially of whether or not we just had it in us to go back to that world. And we talked to Chad's widow, actually, who kind of inspired us to keep going, because she understood in the way that Chad did, probably more than any of us, frankly, how much that franchise and the world of Wakanda meant to people. And then you just have to figure out how you move on without doing something that feels sort of counter to the emotions you're feeling. And hopefully we did that with Wakanda Forever, but it really was a love letter to Chad.
You've now been an EP, a producer in a number of Marvel films,
and that's where the conversation of that stops there. Let's listen to it again, and this time I'm going to give my commentary.
Black Tree TV. Nate, I remember we first met on the last day of shooting for Black Panther in Atlanta.
Sure.
And I was like first just so proud to see you in that seat, I know Black Panther and what's happened with Chad is like, it's been some time, but as an EP, on the business side of that tragedy, did you think that y'all would be able to move on with that franchise?
Not necessarily. I mean, it was obviously a shocking loss, because Chad was such a big part of that character, even in Civil War,
Actually, let me go back here.
Loss, not necessarily.
The first question was
with that franchise.
Not necessarily.
First question was, do you guys think that you would have necessarily been able to move on with that franchise? To where he said not necessary. Hold on, I'm sorry. 1 second, and this really is irritating me. I am so sorry. Okay, sorry. Thor doesn't shut the fuck up, so you got to. Anyway, one of the things that he said here was, let me rewind it because Thor fucking took me off my damn train of thought.
I mean, it was
with that franchise.
not necessarily.
Y'all would be able to move on with that franchise.
Not necessarily. I mean.
Okay, so the first question again was, you guys think that you would have been able to move on with that franchise? To where Nate Moore said, not necessarily. And for me, the interview, when I first listened to this, for me, I really didn't need to hear anything else that Nate Moore said from there, because from there, that should have solidified not only to the studio, but to everybody else. Okay, well, if you don't feel that you can come back to this, then we don't need to have you a part of it. I've said this many times before. If your emotions were in the way too much for you to come back and do your job, then you need to remove yourself from said job. It's just that simple. We look at the Fast and Furious crew. That movie, Fast 7, is honestly one of my favorite Fast films. When you look at that film, it's a tribute to Paul Walker, but it's not this depressing film that's contributed out to Paul Walker. Yes, Paul Walker was still alive to film some of that film, and then his brother came in and took over the rest of it. But there was still anything that Marvel Studios could have done other than killing the character. I was never on board with CGI in the character's face or Chadwick's face or anything like that. Don't put the character in the film if that's what you felt you had to do. As we said when we were doing the early days of the Recast a Child, we put out the E-Man put out that deal that laid out what the movement actually stands for. And one of the things in there was, we are not, no one logically with a brain is sitting here telling you, you better put T'Challa in Wakanda for never. No one ever said that. No one, and if there were people out there saying that, they were not representative of the movement. No one was telling Marvel Studios or anyone else, trying to bully them into putting T'Challa in the first film, or in the second film. That's not what we were saying. We were saying is, okay, that's fine. You're grieving. That's fucking understandable. You're grieving. Take your time. But you can do anything but burying the character with Chadwick Boseman. There's anything you could do. So there was anything that Marvel Studios could have done. Again, you look at the way that the Fast and Furious crew handled Fast 7. A phenomenal fucking movie. And yes, there were emotions filled while they were filming that movie. Vin Diesel talks about that movie. Tyrese has talked about the filming of that movie. They've talked about how it was emotional, how it was hard for them to get through and things like that, but they did their fucking jobs. They delivered a phenomenal movie and they got through. It's point blank period. They're actors. They have to do their jobs. Tyrese mourned on site, on camera, with people filming him on site where Paul Walker crashed at. They grieved privately, but when they stepped back into the studio, when they stepped back into those writers' rooms, when they stepped back into those reading those scripts at the round table, they did their fucking jobs. So the fact that Nate Moore started this interview with, well, we felt that we almost couldn't even come back, then you shouldn't have come back. You shouldn't have come back. Let's move on.
And it was obviously a shocking loss, because Chad was such a big part of that character, even in Civil War, you know. And you know, people make movies. You have an emotional attachment to people.
Yes, people do make movies. People do make movies, and you have an emotional attachment to people, and that's fine. No one's telling anyone that you can't have an emotional attachment. No one's telling anyone that you can't, feel or mourn or any of that. I don't know why we have to keep repeating this. No one is saying that. What was said and what is still being said, even for the production of Black Panther 3, is if you can't, again, take that emotion and use that or put that to the side when you step through the studio doors or whatever, then you just should not be on the project. Yes, people make movies. That is damn true. People make movies. But while making those movies, people also understand that people do pass. People do die. Things do happen. And with that, you continue to do what you're doing. You look at the Percy Jackson shit. Was it Percy Jackson? I think it was Percy Jackson. Percy Jackson, I believe Percy Jackson in the Olympians. I think that's what it's called. Anyway, that show on Disney Plus is one of the highest viewed shows on Disney Plus. And on top of it being one of the highest viewed shows on Disney Plus, I believe they had someone pass away after the first season, or I don't even know how many seasons they're on. I just remember someone passed away seamlessly. They recast it and moved on. And I guarantee you, it did not put a bump in the road. It didn't deter them from doing anything, because look at the show. It's still one of the highest viewed shows on Disney Plus, and that's with the recast. So people, this whole thing of people make movies, people make shows, people do, and without people you can't do those movies, you can't do those shows. So tying a character to Chadwick Boseman then eliminates the opportunity for another person to come in and do that movie. People make movies, like he just said. People make movies. So when you're burying fictional characters with real people, you're not allowing real people to come in and make real movies. It doesn't make any sense to me. It's baffling to me that we are still 5 years later having this sentiment, having these conversations. Again, no one's telling you not to feel. No one's telling you not to mourn. No one's telling you that you can't feel a certain type of way. What we're sitting here telling you is it's been 5 fucking years. It's been 5 fucking years. It's like, this is a fictional character. To even take it just a little bit step further, I think I bookmarked it. Please tell me I bookmarked it, or did I just like it? Might have bookmarked it. I can't remember. Take it just a little step further. Let me see. Maybe I just liked it. Let me see. Hold on. Here it is. You're able to do this. You're able to do this. This is able to be done. You are able to take the cartoon version. You're able to take a live action, another cartoon version, another live action, and you have all the actors that have played this character holding each other up in pictures. And one of the fun things that you can do about this is you can look at Kal-El from the original Justice League series. You can look at I forget his name, but you can look at all the different versions of Superman here, and you can have the conversation about this Superman does this. Well, this Superman does that. I like the way he plays this. I like the way he does that. You cannot have that conversation when we're talking about T'Challa, because Marvel Studios had an emotional decision and decided to bury the character with Chadwick. So again, people make movies. People make movies. And yes, y'all had a damn emotional reaction to this. So you should have taken the step back and been like, okay, let's assess this situation, but let's move on. And what else he said.
Kugler and I certainly had really hard conversations initially of whether or not we just had it in us to go back to that.
That shit's wild. I wonder what those, to be a fly on the wall, I wonder what those conversations were like to be like, do we even have it in us to go back? Do we have it in us to go do this again? And again, if you did, that's wild. That's wild. I mean, I get it if, coming off of the death of a friend and things like that, you're having those initial conversations. But after, logic sets in and sense steps in, do you not say, hey, we got to make it the right decision here?
And we talked to Chad's widow, actually, who...
And that's not true. I believe they probably spoke to Chad's widow. But from my understanding, she did not say that, did not have this conversation with them, from my understanding.
Who kind of inspired us to keep going, because she understood in the way that Chad did, probably more than any of us, frankly, how much...
And see, actually, this is how you know Nate Moore's lying. This is how you know he's lying. And again, I don't have any hardcore evidence that Nate Moore is lying. I have no hardcore evidence that he spoke with Chad's widow or didn't speak with Chad's widow or whatever. My evidence, my reason for saying that and what I'm going off of is this. He just said, hear it again.
And we talked to Chad's widow, actually, who kind of inspired us to keep going, because she understood in the way that Chad did, probably more than any of us, frankly.
Okay, so if you spoke with Chad's widow, like he says he did, and if she understood as much as Chad did, more than anybody, as he just said, those are his words, there are so many different interviews, videos, where either he was on a stage honoring Stan Lee, on the Graham Norton show, the Black and White interview, or some others that he's done, where Chadwick has said the importance of the character, and specifically where he's honoring Stan Lee and honoring Stan Lee for creating the character of T'Challa, where he says the importance of the character, where he says, had it not been for you, this stuff wouldn't exist, and blah 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 blah, how important it is for black kids and blah blah. He had this conversation. So if Chad has said that, and we all knew the importance, or we all know how important this character was to Chadwick Boseman, we all know how important this IP was to Chadwick Boseman. And I've even said before, instead of honoring him, the way that Marvel Studios decided to honor him was to throw away the last piece of work that this man did. He helped write that last script. He helped critique that last script. He helped, mold what was supposed to be Black Panther 2. So instead of taking that, you decided, let's crumble that last piece of work, the last thing he what he wanted. Let's crumble that up and let's make some morbid fucking funeral, and let's have everybody pay for it, and let's have everybody feel some type of catharticism through it, and then we can and then we'll pat ourselves on the back like we did something good. No. This whole thing, again, from the jump, decisions were made that never should have been made. So when he's coming in talking about you talk with the widow and she understood way more than Chad, Nate is lying. Nate is lying, because if she understood as much as Chad understood, I promise you there would have been no funeral. There would have been no funeral. There would have been no killing of the character, because Chad understood the character. Chad understood how important the character was. Chad understood the character's importance from its inception. So if Chad understood that and him and his widow were on the same wavelength, then she would have come and sat down with you and said, no. The same shit that Derek is saying, the same shit that his brother is saying, it's the same way that he feels. That's the same way that I feel. I believe that Derek had conversations with him about how he wanted it to go, and maybe the widow did too. I don't believe that Nate spoke with the widow. The reason Nate's not bringing up Derek is because Derek is speaking specifically on what his brother wanted. He is telling people, my brother would have wanted this, my brother would have wanted that. We had conversations about what my brother wanted. Nate didn't even know Chad was sick. So to take Nate's word for anything, that's Nate, he's lying. Once again, lying.
How much that franchise and the world of Wakanda meant to people. And then you just have to figure out how you move on without doing something that feels sort of counter to the emotions you're feeling.
And that's that too. Come on. See, Nate's playing games here. These are word games he's playing. I can't stand this much. These are word games. Listen to this.
And then you just have to figure out how you touch that to keep going, because she understood in the way that Chad did, probably more than any of us, frankly, how much that franchise and the world of Wakanda meant.
How much that franchise and the world of Wakanda, they refuse, notice, pay attention, they refuse to say T'Challa's name. How much that world and that franchise meant to Chad. No. As I've said many times, I just said this last night. In order for there to be a Wakanda, there first has to be a T'Challa. In order for there to be a Gotham, there first has to be a Bruce. In order for there to be a friendly neighborhood to protect, there has to be a Spider-Man. So, with all that knowledge, and we know all of that, it's not as if Chad had all this love and affinity for Wakanda alone. It's not as if Chad had all this love for the IP alone. In order to, Nate Moore's fucking words from 2018, in order to first love the Black Panther, you have to love T'Challa. So I'm telling you, Chad loved T'Challa first before finding this love for Wakanda, before finding this love for the IP. So when you're mixing words and trying to make it seem like
widow, actually, who kind of inspired us to keep going, because she understood in the way that Chad did, probably more than any of us, frankly, how much that franchise and the world of Wakanda meant to me.
It's more than the franchise and the world of Wakanda. It starts with T'Challa. The fact that he refuses to say the character's name, the franchise character's name. We wouldn't do this if this was a Superman interview. We're saying Superman. We're saying Kal-El. We're not talking how much Smallville meant to him and how much that IP meant to him. No, we're not talking about that. We're saying the character's name. They refuse. I'm telling you. So this leans even further into the notion that he's not coming back. They won't say the character's name. They're not even putting the emphasis on it at all. Talking about Chad cared about Wakanda and this IP. Again, Nate Moore's own words, throwing back in his face. In order to first love the Black Panther, you have to love T'Challa.
And then you just have to figure out how you move on without doing something that feels sort of counter to the emotions you're feeling. And hopefully we did that with Wakanda Forever, but it really was a love letter to Chad.
And then he said, hopefully you do something that's counter to the emotions that you're feeling. I feel like that was exactly what you guys were feeling. You were feeling death. You were feeling depression. You were feeling how can we move past this? And that is exactly the tone that you gave in that movie. That's exactly the tone you gave in that movie. So it wasn't like as if your feelings were kept out of the film. He says that here as if they did their best to not put their emotions in the film.
Without doing something that feels sort of counter to the emotions you're feeling. And hopefully we did that with Wakanda Forever, but it really was a love letter to Chad.
It definitely wasn't a love letter to Chad. I can tell you that right now. It definitely was not a love letter to Chad. And if it was a love letter to Chad, I don't know what type of love relationship you all had, but that wasn't love. Love, again, is going to be taking the man's last piece of work, taking his last, notes that he wrote in. Oh, let's change this, or scratch this out, and let's do this, or let's nickname it summer vacation, and all this kind of stuff. All that stuff, you take that and you mold that and you turn that into a love letter to Chad. You take his last piece of work and you say, this is for Chadwick because this is what Chadwick would have wanted. You don't then take that work, crumble it up, throw it in the fire, and then say, how can we take Chadwick's death, make everyone relive that, but make them pay for it at the same time while patting ourselves on the back to make it seem like we delivered a great film and we did it in the name of honoring Chadwick Boseman. So, what I've been saying from the beginning is still ringing the same for me, is that they are not thinking about this character in a recasting type of form. They are not thinking about this character in the way that we are thinking about this character. They only care about this character as far as Wakanda goes right now, as far as these extra characters go right now and things like that. That's not, yeah. So, Nate, that's what he had to say while speaking with Black Tree TV about, and this is recent. This is 6 days ago. This is promotion for Brave New World. So I wanted to bring that up also to say, with it being 6 days ago, you can see that narrative, that thought process, how they think about this character, it's still the same as it was in 2022. When we saw Wakanda Forever, the last time Nate is in the same form he was in 2022. Everybody, we were all asking, where's Nate? Has anybody seen Nate? Have you seen this man? Does he still work for Marvel? He's here, he's back, and he's still in the same form he was in 2022. So make no mistake. Make no mistake. The ground they stood on in 2022 is the same mentality and ground he just did an interview 6 days ago with. Make no mistake. This is the exact same Nate Moore, and he is still in the exact same form that he was in. So, like I said on Twitter, it's good to see that Nate hasn't changed. He is still the exact same person. He is still out here lying. He is still out here giving no hope to the Black community as far as wanting to, and I know Black Tree TV, I know they want this character recasted too. That's why they keep asking Marvel, in a respectful way, hey, I love seeing you up there, and maybe he really did love seeing you up there in that position, being the producer and bringing this thing to life and things like that. Brought it to life just to kill it. Brought it to life just to kill it. This is the last thing I'm going to show, just for people that I need to see it for myself. Let me see. Let me see if I can find it without having to go through my files. Oh, there it is. Look at there.
So I just want to warn you. I've seen the movie. He has not. He's trying to get secrets out of me.
No, you don't let it be spoiled. You want to see it fresh. You don't want her to.
Now, I want you to just, and I'm not doing a psychoanalysis of this. I'm just only showing this, and I'm done. I'm done. After I show this, I'm done. I have nothing else to say. But I want you to look at Nate in talking about the Black Panther franchise within the MCU in 2018, opposed to talking about the Black Panther franchise in 2025. We're using T'Challa's name here. T'Challa's name is not. I'm trying to think the last time. Yeah, using T'Challa's name here. T'Challa's name is not being used when talking in these interviews as of lately.
Spoil it for you. Ruins the fun.
So,
Yeah.
Nate, you were a big fan of Black Panther even as a kid,
yeah.
and it really spoke and connected to you. So what are you hoping that audiences are going to be able to connect with now seeing him on the screen?
I think the fans that already love the character hopefully will love him and learn about him in a new way. I think people who've never seen him before will learn about a new hero and a new world. The world of Wakanda is so interesting.
Now,
To be able-
let me start here. Notice we didn't even talk about Wakanda yet. The first few seconds of that answer were learning about him, getting to know him, and what makes him tick. And let's start that over. Start that again.
I think the fans that already love the character hopefully will love him and learn about him in a new way. I think people who've never seen him before will learn about a new hero and a new world. The world of Wakanda is so interesting.
We put the emphasis on T'Challa on the main character, the franchise's main character, before we put the emphasis on people enjoying Wakanda. 2025, we've reversed that. It's all about Wakanda. It's all about the extras. It's never about T'Challa.
To be able to spend time in there, I think was really important because I think it might change how people see the continent of Africa, which would be great.
And for you, seeing this world come to life, can you tell the fans sort of what it really felt like to step onto those sets and see this actual thing in life?
Yeah, I mean, it's one thing to talk about things or read scripts about worlds, but to actually step on the sets that Hanley Beekler, our production designer, made was amazing. I think all of us had our breath taken away the first time we walked into the tribal council room, for instance, because it just sort of makes it real. It makes it real in a way that it's never real until you get there, you know?
And what made Ryan the right director for this? You know, he came on after Chadwick had been cast,
Yeah.
so talk about that process a little bit.
I mean, his two films, both Fruitvale Station and Creed, are such great character pieces, and we knew that for people to love the Black Panther franchise, they needed to love T'Challa. Great character pieces, and we knew that for people to love the Black Panther franchise, they needed to love T'Challa. Great character pieces, and we knew that for people to love the Black Panther franchise, they needed to love T'Challa. Great character pieces, and we knew that for people to love the Black Panther franchise, they needed to love T'Challa. Great character pieces, and we knew that for people to love the Black Panther franchise, they needed to love T'Challa. And I think Ryan figured out a way to make him really relatable. For somebody who's the king of an African nation and also one of the smartest people in the world, that's a hard thing to do, but Ryan is such a great dramatist. And Ryan is really smart about his other characters. So the Dora Milaje, Nakia, Okoye, these are all characters that we think are going to be huge characters for fans, and it's because of the work that Ryan did.
Once upon a time, we thought a much different way about this franchise over at Marvel Studios. Once upon a time. And I know some people think, well, duh, of course they thought a different way. Their friend was alive. The guy that helped bring it to life was alive. I checked that word friend. There are a lot of people that think we're friends, that I'm friends with them, and we're really just associates. So I checked that word friend. I don't know how truly friends they were. I'm meaning him and Namor. How truly friends they were like that. But as I said, different tone, different shift, different conversation, different feeling around this franchise in 2018, opposed to not wanting to even bring the character's name up in an interview in 2025. So just a interesting deal there. Definitely go and check that out if you haven't seen this entire interview from 2018. But different Nate Moore, different time. Anyway, yeah, that is what I've got there as far as show goes, as far as what's going on in the news right now. Not a whole lot. Slow day. Not a lot going on, but enough to talk about. They started filming Lanterns today. We'll go ahead and get into some of the little things. They started filming Lanterns today. So we should start seeing some behind-the-scenes things, pictures. I don't know if they're doing, the practical suits or if it's going to be CGI on there or not, but we'll get to see how that's going to look and things like that, and get to see exactly what this Lantern show is going to be. So be looking for that. And has anybody been watching Invincible? I didn't talk about Invincible the last time because Invincible Season 2 I really did not care for. I did not care for Invincible Season 2 at all. It was okay, but it wasn't one of my favorites at all. This season, though, is a return to form. This season, Invincible Season 3 is a return to form. What they are doing in Invincible Season 3 is phenomenal so far. Those first 3 episodes were great. Those first 3 episodes of Invincible season 3 are great. So Cecil is in rare form in this. I'm liking Oliver a lot as well. Mark is still doing that whine and shit, but it's a really good show. It's a really good show. So there's some good stuff out right now. Outside of Marvel stuff, if you're not wanting to watch anything Marvel, definitely check out Invincible. Check that out for sure. If you were a big fan of season 1 and season 2 kind of didn't do it for you, I promise you, season 3 is a return to form. Season 3 is a return to form. Yeah, like Cleve 17 said, his little brother's going to be a problem. Oliver is going to be a problem. I don't want to spoil anything for anybody, but Oliver is going to be a problem if you haven't seen it. It looks like it's good so far. So yeah, everybody in the chat is agreeing it is really good so far. Really good. So yeah, check out Invincible season 3. I would play this teaser, but I want to say I would get copy. I don't think that they are for showing Invincible or reacting to Invincible or doing anything Invincible like that on screen. But yeah, doesn't look bad. Doesn't look bad at all. I'm trying to see if I missed anything. No, that's all from yesterday. So yeah, nope, that's the news. Let me jump into the chat really quick, see what some of you were saying. Go up a little here to this conversation. All right, here we go. Xavier said, Nate just comes off as an inauthentic and lying to cover that rushed emotional decision. Yeah. Raymond said, I had the same relationship with Chadwick, but with Chadwick and Ryan had with Chadwick. We were fans. That Ryan had with Chadwick. We were fans. Yes. Why is Thor back out of that room? Patrick said T'Challa is first and Wakanda is second. I don't care about Wakanda without T'Challa. It's like Batman / Bruce Wayne in Gotham. Right. D-Sizzle said, this is premium fuel for T'Challa fans. Yeah, no, it really is. Like every time they do that stuff, every time they get out here and they talk and they continue to either not mention the character or anything like that. Again, just not mentioning the character is wild. Not mention the character or anything. It fuels it. As I said, do not let up. Continue to be relentless. And I want to say this too. When it comes to the hashtag T'Challa or no T'Challa, no ticket, that needs to be a hashtag that needs to start being more prevalent. I know that there are a lot of people that were using that hashtag before in 2022, but we need to start that hashtag needs to be right behind after you retweet or tweet hashtag recast T'Challa. You need to start tweeting after it, no T'Challa, no dollar. If that's the way you feel. If that's not the way you feel, don't tweet that. But that's the way that I feel. I did not feel that way in 2022 because I was like, I need to see the film first. Let me see the film, and then after that, So I saw the film, walked out of the film. No T'Challa, no dollar. Everybody needs to be posting that if that is the way that you feel. I feel like that needs to be the sentiment that moves forward. And hit them where it hurts. Hit them where it hurts. Hit them where it hurts. You don't go see this film. You don't talk about this film. As far as like Eyes of Wakanda, I implore everyone. Please listen to me. Do not watch Eyes of Wakanda. I don't care if you have a Disney Plus account. I don't care if it's in your recommendations because you've watched other Marvel shit. They're trying to get you to see it. Or do not tune in to Eyes of Wakanda. I will not be reviewing Eyes of Wakanda. I won't be giving you any thoughts about Eyes of Wakanda unless they give like some type of like one of these scoopers or something posts like something in relation to the MCU with Eyes of Wakanda. Sure, I might cover the post of it, but am I watching? Am I tuning in? Am I going to be engaging and giving my time to Eyes of Wakanda? No, I'm not. And I implore every single one of you to do the same. Do not pay attention to Eyes of Wakanda. Do not watch Eyes of Wakanda. Hit them in the numbers. Hit them where it hurts. No one's paying attention to this. No one's paying attention to any of your Black Panther shit without T'Challa. Hit them where it hurts. Raymond said, T'Challa is the nucleus of the BP/Wakanda franchise, just like Bruce Wayne is for Batman/Gotham franchise. You don't have either without them. Yes, many wore the cowl, or crown/cowl, but those two are the foundation and the center. You take that away, you don't have either. Agreed. Brother Stark said Chadwick didn't want that role to end with him. Who here thinks Chadwick was that selfish to feel you would not want another black actor to continue this role? We have said that too so many times before, and good comment there, Brother Stark, on that one. As far as like who Chadwick wasn't so selfish into believing that the role is solely his. You know, he wasn't going to he never wanted the role to stop with him. He never wanted the role to be buried with him or anything like that. He wanted these roles to continue. You know, it was Chadwick that came in during the making of the first Black Panther film that said, "Why are you trying to have them speak in British accents? We're in Africa." So Chadwick understood the assignment from day one. It was always Marvel Studios and those around that didn't understand the assignment. Let's see. Xavier said, "You put everything inside you on that screen. Come on, Nate. Do better with the lies." Yeah. Professor Filmfan said, "I wish some of these interviews would stop being so nice. I get you have a job to do, but come on." Yeah, and you know, I've said that too. I've said, you know, if YouTube and things continue, you know, to go the way I want them to go, as far as this community growing and us getting bigger on the podcast and things like that we're doing, I would never be one of those people that they would call to go to a red carpet, because I'm not going to change how I think or change what I say up here on this platform to fit your narrative, to be a shill for you or to accept a check from Marvel. No, not happening that way. I wouldn't get invited. Because I would ask the questions. If I was to sit in front of Kevin Feige or Nate Moore, the first thing I'm asking is, so what the hell is going on with T'Challa? What's going on behind the scenes? Is there some weird mandate that y'all put on to where the character can't be used? What was that shit in 2022? Why did you not want to recast T'Challa? I understand that you were going through your emotions, but everything like that. So you said that it took you seconds to decide. Why did it only take you seconds to decide this character's future? The character that you say that you knew, Chadwick Boseman and things like that, but Chadwick Boseman had so much affinity for this character. Why is it that it only took you and Ryan Coogler seconds to decide to kill this character off? So what is the future for T'Challa? You have any futures for T'Challa? No, not Toussaint. Do you have anything for T'Challa, son of T'Chaka, going? I couldn't sit in those interviews. Because have you seen that interview with Robert Downey Jr. where it's like he got asked a question by the interviewer that he wasn't supposed to ask? They probably have me sit down before the interview and say, you know, no recast questions. I guarantee you, as soon as the camera rolls, that's my first question. It's my first question. So no, I wouldn't get invited to that stuff either. Let's see, scroll down a little. JD said, "I wish someone would have asked him why they don't even say T'Challa's name." Yeah, weird. Official MG said, "I'd like to meet Nate and pick his brain. I want to see what makes Nate Nate." Yeah, that'd be interesting. Let's see. Raymond said, Raymond said, "What was that light-skinned guy's name on the Jamie Braxton?" It was Braxton on the Jamie Foxx show. That's funny. He is Braxton. He is Braxton. That is a great comparison. He is Braxton. Oh, that's funny. Cleve 17 said, "And makes him hide his kids." SMH. Let's see. Blood Boiling said, "Smartest people in the world, BS. They gave his super genius to his sister instead of him." Right. Raymond said, "So much potential wasted when I left the movie theater around this time 7 years ago. I had so much hope, expectations, theories. I was like, this can be their Dark Knight trilogy, and boy, was I wrong." Yeah. Let's see. And then talking about Invincible. Official MG said Invincible season 3 is excellent. Yeah, definitely check out season 3. Everybody talking about it. Good show. Let's see. The Known Time said, "I'm calling my shot. Colman Domingo is the next Brother Voodoo." That'd be cool. Ty said, "Nate looks whiter than me, and I'm white." You know what, Ty? I did not know until someone said it in that group that we're all in that you were white. I did not know that. First of all, brother, you don't sound white. I think I've been on enough calls with you. You don't sound white, and I shocker to me. So hey, happy to have you here, Ty. I did not know that. Happy to have you here. That is one of my guys for real. Ty is on it on Twitter. Poogie Wood said, no T'Challa, no Disney dollar. Brother Stark said, Lies of Wakanda. Yeah, don't watch Lies of Wakanda. Poogie said, I don't even have Disney Plus anymore. There's that too. Brother Stark said, when are you seeing Cap? Or Ty said, Ty was talking to Brother Stark. Brother Stark asked him when he's seeing Cap for. It Shed said, I've canceled my subscription since the Jonathan Major situation. Oh, okay. Yeah, there were people that are, well, Disney Plus lost what? 700,000 subscribers or something like that. Something 7. I don't want to make a number up. D. Sissel said, I gave up on new Disney Marvel animation. X-Men 97 was mostly good, and that's it. Official MG said, I'll only be watching because I'm a film and TV. I understand that first and foremost, not because of the BS going on. Plus, I'll have to review it probably. Not, I understand that too. This is one I won't be reviewing. I won't be checking this one out. I tend to say the same thing. I tend to say I have an obligation. I need to watch this to give a review and give people, an idea of what it is and things like that. I don't feel that with this one. I'm too jaded on this to have that sentiment. Kevin said, family still watch Marvel Studio films and TV shows. Yeah, of course I don't. Who said they didn't? They're definitely still watching them. Official MG said these interviews are not gonna risk being blackballed, and most questions are approved beforehand. Yes, most questions are approved beforehand, and that is very true. They're not going to risk that. That is one of the reasons that I had said when people were trying to were jumping on E, that I said, well, the same thing. He has a job. I mean, he has a wife. He's got children. I don't have any of those things. So I plan to be alone my entire life. So I don't have any of those things. I would be A-okay to be the person to go in there and get blackballed. I'm okay with that. Blackball me. Planet Poppy said, hell nah, Braxton was cooler than Nate. Nate is more like Stanley from Friday. They give him Stanley. Let's see. The Lawrence Report said, who said Nate Moore looked like a pencil earlier? That's hilarious. Let's see. Raymond said, Ty did a reverse white chicks on us. Thor, get the fuck away from the door. Am I insulting Braxton? I'm sorry. Okay, let me take that back. It is an insult to Braxton. I'm sorry. Okay, can I say at least he's the early episodes of Braxton before Braxton really got, used to Jamie? Can I say that? Can I say he's the early episodes of Braxton? He might be Tom. Tom from the Boondocks. Yeah, I could see that. He definitely might be Tom from the Boondocks. I can give him that one too. Hey, Robert. Can definitely give him that one too. Raymond said the people who like Braxton are Braxton. Bird said I can't even watch Cap either. This BP news got me anti-Marvel. No, I don't blame you. I don't blame you. I think Buckmeister said the same thing. He's not going to go see Cap either, just out of good conscience of what's going on with Black Panther and Marvel Studios. So yeah, no, you are not alone. You are not alone in that feeling. Let's see. Xavier said Thor is on one tonight. No, he really is. Y'all want to meet Thor? You want to see? Even if I put him in front of the camera, he's still, because I'm about done anyway. I'm out of here, so I'll let you guys meet Thor, and we'll call it a night. Let me grab him. and you can meet who won't shut the fuck up. Come here, Thor. Come here, Thor. Oh, hush. Hush. Stay in my lap. Come here. Come here. All right, this is Thor. Thor cries and cries and cries. He's a titty baby. And he's only that way because he shattered his paw when he was, shut up, Thor. He shattered his paw when he was 5 weeks old. One of my decorative pieces in my house fell on his paw and shattered it. So when I say that he is up my ass all the fucking time, he's up my ass all the that's his mom. That's his mom. This is his mom, Sprite. This is Sprite. His mama. His sister is in here too. Come here, Jubilee. Jubilee. Come here. Come here, Juby. Come here. Come here. This is his sister, Jubilee. Well, all that shit fell. Anyway, that's his sister, Jubilee, and then his dad is also in here. Let me get him. Come here, Murmur. Murmur, come here. Come here. And this is his daddy, Murmur. This was my first baby. I rescued him, and he doesn't want me to kiss him. Yeah, those are, and that's not all of them. There are more. There's Vermax, there's Meraxes, there's Rocket, there's Tinker, and there's Katniss. So all together, that is 9 cats. I believe I have 9. I believe there's 9 of them. Now, Sprite, before you judge, because I can hear all of you judging me through this screen. We listen and we don't judge, so you cannot judge. Sprite and Murmur are the parents. They had Thor, Jubilee, and Rocket. Vermax and Meraxes are not Sprite's kids. She treats them like they are her kids, though. They are the youngest in the house. They are not even a year yet. I rescued them off the euthanization list. They were about to be put to death, and I was like, not on my fucking watch. So I took them home. And then, of course, there's Katniss and Tinker, who are also adopted and not a part of Murmur and Sprite's family. And I have 2 dogs as well. I have T'Challa, who is in here. T'Challa, you want to meet everybody? Come up here. Come here. Or are you coming on that side? Come here. This is T'Challa. Come up here. This is T'Challa. And T'Challa is named after, obviously, T'Challa. This is my big baby. Yeah, this is my big baby. And then there's Capone. Capone is my pit bull. Capone is 10 years old. He's old, so he's likely eating, shitting, or sleeping. Get down. Get down. We're done. So yeah, that's the house. That's the house. It's a zoo. It's a zoo over here. T'Challa, sit it down. You're done. We're done. We're done. We're done. Stop. So yeah, anyway, it's a zoo. But as you can hear, everybody is crying and complaining and bitching and now in all of my shit on counters and things that they're not supposed to be on. So I'm going to get them out of here. I do appreciate everybody hanging out and getting to know the fam bam a little bit. These are my babies, So yeah, it is a lot of work. It is a lot of work. Like Cleve said, it's a lot of work. Yeah, I have a whole, like my 4th bedroom is the cat's room. Like it's got all the walls are covered in carpet. These carpet squares I went and got and covered every wall in carpet squares so they can climb the walls and shit. They've got floor to ceiling cat trees. Like bro, these cats live a fucking phenomenal life. So I take care of my babies. My dogs have a good life too. So I take care of my babies. These are my babies. But appreciate you guys being here. Let me get them on out of here because they really are in shit that they're not supposed to be in. So I'm gonna get them on out of here. Appreciate you guys hanging out. If you're new here and you like what you saw, go ahead and hit that subscription button. Like this video. Like, subscribe, share with your friends, and enjoy this outro. I'll see you guys tomorrow. We are live tomorrow, 8:30 Central Standard Time here on Planet Fanatics. I'm live also Wednesday, live with the Pantheon on Thursday. Oh, shit. Yeah, I'm live Pantheon on Thursday. I am not live on Friday. I will not be here Friday, so I'm not here on Friday, but I'll be live Monday through Thursday. So, see you guys next time. Like, subscribe, share with your friends, and I will see all of you in the next video.